Thank you so much for being here. We're going to start on our backs tonight. So go ahead and lay down. Be comfortable. So if you have blankets you want to put on or use as a pillow, you could do that. You could lay with your legs stretched out long, or you could have your legs bent into what's called active rest. So the feet would be nice and wide, and then the knees gently knock inwards towards each other. Yeah. And then the back of the head is heavy to the floor. So whenever you're ready, you may close your eyes. Start to welcome your breath. And if, circumstances or there's a lot going on and you just don't really feel like closing your eyes just yet, that's okay too. Maybe you find what we call in yoga a drishti, or a focal point somewhere straight ahead, something that you can gaze upon. Start to connect to the senses, the things that are happening right here, right now. Your breath, aromas in the air, the sensation of your clothes against your skin or the earth. And we're going to do a breathing practice. It's called square breath. And so we'll count our breaths. There'll be a brief hold at the top of the inhale and at the bottom of the exhale. This is a grounding breath that you could do any point of the day, anywhere. So if you'd like to, still on your back, I'm just going to be seated in case you have a peep at the camera, just so I can speak more clearly. You could take your right hand at your low belly and then your left hand at your heart. And when you're ready to exhale, just let go of all the air so we can go together, and then you're welcome to go at your own pace. And you'll breathe in 2, 3, 4. Hold the breath. 2, 3, 4. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4. Hold the breath out. 2, 3, 4. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4. Hold the breath. 2, 3, 4. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. And like this at your own pace. Inhaling. 2, 3, 4. Hold the breath. 2, 3, 4. Exhaling. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. We'll do 3 more together. Inhaling. 2, 3, 4. Hold the breath in. 2, 3, 4. Exhaling. 2, 3, 4. Hold the breath out. 2, 3, 4. And again, at your own pace, one more time. Whenever you're ready, you can let your breath return back to natural, or maybe a little bit more of a deeper breath resonated with you today, and you'll just deepen your breath just for a little bit more here. And taking this sacred time at the beginning of our practice to create an intention or even a prayer, anything that resonates with you. Maybe you're creating an intention for something you'd like to cultivate: strength, peace, calm, or maybe it's something more specific. Allow for it to come naturally. And then whenever you're ready, release your hands back down at your sides. We're going to stay on our backs for some movement. So if your feet are not already planted, you'll plant your feet into the floor. You'll breathe in and then you'll breathe out, hug your right knee into your chest. And we'll switch like that, breathing in, right foot down, breathing out, left knee in. Breathing in, left foot down, breathing out, right foot in. Right? Breathing in, right foot down, breathing out, left foot in. And so keep moving like this. If this meets your edge and this feels good to you, stick with this. You can also start to lengthen the bottom leg. So as the right foot comes down and the left knee comes in, the right leg might come long instead. And now this is going to require a little bit more core activity on your part, because then as you breathe in, your legs will come long, arms at your sides. And as you breathe out, you'll use your core and your hands to hug the right knee in. As you breathe in, right leg long. And as you breathe out, left knee in. And like this, switching. Breathing in, left leg long. Breathing out, right knee in. Breathing in, right leg long, and breathing out, left leg. And to add on a little bit more here, you might lift your head up, curl your tailbone up and in, breathing in, legs long. This is a half boat. It's pretty difficult sometimes. And breathing out, hug right knee, and then you reach your nose to your knee. Breathing in, legs long. Breathing out, hug left knee, right? So there's opportunity to level up as you're ready. And maybe you go to a certain place and it doesn't feel quite right, and you decide to scale back. All good. Breathing in long, breathing out as you hug in. So we're gonna do just one more to each side. Good. If you're long into that, legs long on the floor, stay there. If they're lifted, stay there. Take a breath in. Breath out, we'll hug both the knees in together. We'll all do that. Let your head and neck relax. And maybe you rock a little side to side, massaging the back against the earth. Good. And then when you're ready here, plant the feet, ground down through the left foot, extend the right leg up high. Interlace your hands behind the right hamstring. And then press your hamstring into your hands back into your hamstrings. You're creating a little bit more of an isometric contraction. Breathe in there. And then breathe out, hug the right leg in. Now, if you feel like you need a little bit more sensation, you can always slide the hands up to the calf or the ankle or maybe the foot, but no need to force anything. Point the foot or flex the foot here. Find what feels better for the belly of your muscles of the right leg. Good. And breathe. Good. You could stay right here, challenging yourself by pulling that leg in a little bit closer. Or once again, you can lift your head up off the floor using your abdominals and start to walk your hands down now, down back towards the hamstring if they're not already. Breathe, breath in. As you breathe out, walk your hands and curl your torso up a little bit more towards the right leg. Walk up, and then inhale. And then exhale, maybe reach. Maybe now you're just simply reaching for the toes with an active belly muscles. A little shakes are okay. Nice job, good. And take a breath in and breath out, release your head. And wherever you're at, we're gonna now take that right ankle to the top of the left thigh for a figure four stretch. Yeah, so the right ankle's on top of the left thigh. Flex those right toes, take the right hand to the right thigh that's on the folded leg, and just press the hand into the leg to get a little stretch there, and breathe. If this is quite enough, you could stay right here, or you'll lift the left leg up and take that right hand into the hole you've created, interlace your hands behind the left hamstring or the left shin, your choice. And now you're active in both your feet, so all 10 toes are working towards their knees. And you can flow with this with your breath, or you can be totally still. If you're flowing with your breath, you'll breathe in, and then you'll breathe out, bend the elbows, maybe pull the legs in closer towards you. Like a little ebb and flow. You'll breathe in, let them work away. You'll breathe out, pull it in. Good, just two more. Wherever you are, you'll hold your deepest stretch for another couple of breaths. Good. Ground your left foot, send the right leg up, and then release the right foot to the floor. And now we'll lift the left leg up towards the sky, interlace your hands behind the left hamstring, and then pressing the hands into the hamstring back into the hands. So you get a little bit of a contraction going on there, maybe even a stretch in the upper back. Thanks. Good, and if you feel like you need now a deeper stretch, we'll let the elbows bend in and pull the leg in towards you. You can also slide the hands up perhaps to the calf or the ankle and get a stretch that suits you today. Breathe into that, taking full breaths in and out. Good, a little abdominals if that feels right to you. Take your breath in. Take your breath out, curl your head up off the floor, curl the upper back off the floor, then bring your hands back down to your hamstrings if they aren't already. Yeah, take a breath in. As you breathe out, using your abdominals, climb the hands up and then also lift your torso, heart, chest towards the leg a little bit more. That's it. Good. Breathe in and then breathe out maybe once again. Do it. Breathe in and then breathe out. Maybe once again, you're reaching towards the foot. You can release your grasp and just stretch your fingers up. Good. Breath in, breath out. We'll release the head if it was lifted. Release your arms at your sides and then bend the left leg. Take the left ankle to the top of the right thigh. You can hold it there. Take your force stretch. Good. And then take your left hand to the left thigh. Breath in. And then breath out, press the hand into the leg and look at an opening there in the hip. Okay, good. And if you want, you could stay right there a little bit more and you'll lift the right foot off the floor. Take that left hand into the hole you've created. Interlace your hands around the right hamstring or even deeper so around the right shin. Good. Connect to your breath here. And we open up our hips. It can feel like a lot. So using our breath to soothe the tension in the body and the mind. Taking deep breaths in, sending that breath to areas of tightness or tension, and breathing out, letting it all go. And if it resonates, you can be still or you can move a little bit here. Just inhaling as you are and exhaling, bending the elbows in, pulling the legs in a little deeper. Good. Inhaling, stretch them away, and exhaling, pulling them in. Good. And wherever you're at, pull the legs in to your deepest stretch and hold. Great. When you're ready, slowly release your grasp, ground the right foot, lift the left leg up, and then back down, planting both feet to the floor, walking your feet in a little bit closer towards your hips, arms at your sides. We're gonna do some bridge lifts. You'll ground down through the soles of the feet. As you inhale, lift your hips all the way up off of the floor, sweep your arms up overhead. And if they can, they'll touch down up behind you, stretching your fingertips towards the opposite wall. As you breathe out next, curl tailbone up and in, and slowly lower upper back, middle back, lower back, and your hands. And your hands will lower to the floor with your hips. And we'll repeat that 4 more times. Breathing in, lift your hips up, sweep your arms up overhead, stretch, reach through the fingers, curl tailbone up and in, and then breathe out nice and slow, lower upper, middle, lower back, hips, and hands. And just 2 more like that. You can move at your own pace, breathing in, stretch and reach. Breathing out, seeing if you can time it just so that your hips and your hands lower at about the same time. It may not be possible, but it's the working towards that's part of the process. We'll inhale and sweep up, curl tailbone up and in, and as you exhale, slowly lower all the way down. Good. And then once you get back down, let your hands rest there. We're going to do one more little series on our backs. Lift your legs up into tabletop position. That's where the feet are off the floor, the knees are bent, and the ankles are just slightly higher than the knees. Good. And then from there, we'll cross the right leg over the left, just like you would if you were sitting down and you're doing like a lady crisscross. Yeah. You're doing a little cross there. And then a second cross, if it's accessible, would be to take the right leg, wrap it around the left ankle. These are called eagle legs. If that's not, you'll just let that right foot be free and really squeeze your thighs together. Then we're gonna take our arms up and you're gonna take the left elbow, bend it up in front, right arm reaches out and then wraps up and underneath the left. Yeah. And then you can intertwine here at the wrist as well. I'm just gonna do this standing just so you get an idea of what you're doing there. So the right leg is over and the right arm is under. So you're doing this essentially on your backs and maybe you have a second wrap there. Yeah, so from here, we're gonna do a little core work, but be mindful of your hips and shoulders so you don't overwork. As you inhale, you're gonna lengthen the belly, stretch the fingers, maybe they tap up overhead and the toes can tap towards the floor. And then as you exhale, curl in elbows to knees. If you lift up off the floor, yes, that's it. I see you guys doing it. Inhale, lengthen, tap fingertips up overhead, tap the toes. And then as you exhale, curl it in, elbows to knee, press your low back to the earth. And we're just gonna do, these are pretty challenging, so we're just gonna do 2 more here. Inhale, lengthen, on this side at least. As you exhale, curl it in. Good, inhale, lengthen. And then exhale, curl it in. And then inhale, come on back, release your head, keep your eagle legs, unwrap your arms and bring them to goalpost or T. Then ground just your left foot, scoot your hips a little bit to the right and send your knees to your left for a twist. Yeah, so you can keep your twisted legs for this. If that doesn't feel good, you can always unwrap your legs and just have your knees stacked on top of each other. Gaze past your right shoulder. Take some breaths. Notice the breath across the abdomen. Good. And then slowly make your way on out. You can unwrap the legs, ground the feet so you can scoot your hips back to center. Release your arms at your sides for a moment. And then bring your legs back on up to tabletop. We're gonna go to the other side. So now the left leg will cross over the right, squeeze into the thighs, maybe take a second wrap, left foot around the right ankle. And then we'll bend the right elbow out in front, left arm reaches out to the side, and the left arm will wrap up and underneath the right. So you have eagle arms, eagle legs. As you inhale, you can have a little arch in your low back, stretch out your belly, tap the toes towards the floor, and the fingertips up overhead. And then as you exhale, curl in elbows to knees. So maybe you're not lifting your head here, and you're just crunching in. And inhaling and then lengthening. Tap toes, tap fingers. And then as you exhale, maybe you do lift your head and you squeeze it and curl yourself up into a ball. Take what you need. Don't strain your neck. If it's straining your neck, keep your head down. No big deal. And then exhale, elbows to knee, curl it in. Great. Inhale for length. And exhale, curl it in. We just have one more. Inhale for length. And exhale. Good. Inhale for length. And then exhale, unwrap just your arms. Take them out to goal pose. Maybe ground that right foot and scoot your hips to the left. Breathe in. Breathe out. Twist your knees over towards the left. Good. Over towards your right. I'm sorry, to your right. Other side. Yep. And then gazing past your left shoulder. Find your breath. Notice where the breath is arriving for you in your body. Maybe across the abdomen, rib cage, the back body. Okay, and then we'll slowly bring our legs back to center, ground the feet, Unwrap your legs, squeeze the knees in one more time. Maybe even open and close your knees just to get some stretching through the inner thighs. Just a little freestyle here. You can create some hip circles. We'll take a couple more breaths. And then when you're ready, either rocking up to sit or very simply roll to one side. Press yourself up to sit, and we'll make our way into a tabletop position. So take your time to come into tabletop. So when you get to tabletop, the wrists are below the shoulders, the knees are hip distance, spreading fingers nice and wide. And we're gonna move into cat and cow, tucking the toes, inhale back, arch your spine, lift up through the chest, draw the shoulder heads back. And then as you breathe out, tops of the feet press, curl the tailbone up and in, gaze into your navel, hollow out through the armpits. And as you breathe in, tucking the toes, arch the spine, let the belly relax towards the floor, draw the shoulder heads back. And as you breathe out, tops of the feet press, curl tailbone up and in, gaze inward. Beautiful. We're just going to take 3 more like that. Inhaling, arch the spine, lift up through the chest, draw the shoulder heads back. Exhaling, tops of the feet press, curl the tailbone up and in, gaze inward, draw the chin in towards the chest. And just 2 more with the rhythm of your own breath. Good, come on to neutral spine. We'll send the hips back to child's pose. So you can go right from here, so the knees can be hip distance, or you can separate the knees a little bit wider than hip distance, sending the hips back, walk the arms out long, and letting your forehead rest down towards the floor. And take a mental note that you can come here at any point, whenever you feel like you need a little pause or a break in your practice. We're all in our own little journey here together. Okay, take another full breath. And then from there, we'll lift up just enough so you can tuck your toes and bring your knees back to hip distance. You'll tuck your toes, and then we'll do a little toe yoga. So we'll manually reach back and untuck the little toes so that all the little toes are spread onto the mat. Feel stretching out. And then from there, we'll walk our arms out long. You might feel this in your toes. If you have to untuck them, that's okay. Walk your hands over towards the left corner. You probably will come off your mat. Yep, and then you're gonna walk your right fingertips up a little bit higher than your left if you're able. Pop up onto the fingertips. Inhale for length, and as you exhale, slide the torso long. Let your forehead work towards the floor, sinking into that left hip. And we'll take about 3 breaths here. Breathing into the whole right side body, from the right fingertips to the right hip. Good, on your next inhale, slowly walk your hands through center and then all the way over towards the right side. You'll walk your hands all the way towards the right corner. Walk them up, popping up onto the fingertips once again. If that feels okay, walk your left fingertips up a little bit higher than the right. Breathe in, and then breathe out, sinking into the right hip, forehead to the floor. Notice the breath on this side. And then now lift up just enough, walk your hands back up through center, spread the fingers wide, and here we are in downward facing dog prep. So you'll come into downward dog, sending your hips to the sky, heels heavy to the floor, wrap the upper arm bones in, and breathe here. Maybe it's a little bit of stillness you need, or you can move a little bit, walking your dog, bend one leg, lengthen and press into the opposite heel. And just switching sides like that at your very own pace. We'll take another couple of breaths in down dog. Good. And then heavy into your heels, we're going to do a little plank down dog flow. So you'll come to the tippy toes of the feet, inhaling, shift forward into plank or high push-up position. The wrists are below the shoulders. And as you exhale, send your hips up to the sky. Just doing the best you can here. Don't force or strain. As you inhale, way forward into plank, high push-up. If you're able to, hips are in line with the shoulders. And then as you exhale, hips to the sky, downward facing dog. And we're gonna do that 3 more times. Inhaling, shift forward, plank. Good, exhaling, hips to the sky. Inhaling your plank pose. Exhaling, belly up and back, hips up and back. Inhale for length. Exhale, hips to the sky. Good, get heavy into your heels, breathe in. As you breathe out, we're gonna walk our hands to our feet. It's okay if it's a little bit of feet to hands, hands to feet. And once you get there where your ankles are below your hips, you'll pop up to your palms to your shins. Take a breath in for half lift. Good, and then breath out, folds over the legs. We'll take a rag dog here. Excuse me. You can separate the feet a little bit wider than hip distance if that feels okay. Maybe you bend your knees, perhaps catch hold of opposite elbow. Let your head hang and rock a little bit here, side to side. Allowing the face muscles to soften and crown of the head drips to the floor. Couple more breaths here. Take your gaze face off. Let your muscles of the eyes and the cheeks all relax. Good, releasing fingertips out in front. Draw your chin towards your chest, softly bend your knees, and then inhalation, roll all the way up. Imagine one vertebrae stacking at a time, and let the head lift last. Sweep your arms up overhead. Take a little back bend there, breath in. And then breathe out, palms connect, hinge from the hips, fold right on over the legs. Inhale for half lift. And as you exhale, bend your knees and walk your way all the way into a push-up or high plank position. Good. Breath in there. As you breathe out, slowly release your knees, tops of the feet press, hips high, elbows graze the side body as you lower all the way down. Chin, chest, belly. Tops of the feet press to the floor. We'll set up for cobra. The thumbs on up with the rib cage, fingers with the chest. Squeeze the elbow points back behind you. Breathe in, lift up. Your elbows can stay bent here. Root down through the tops of the feet. We're going to do a little cobra flow. And then as you breathe out, fold down. Chin or forehead can touch down. Breathe in, lift. Maybe you feel like you can lift up a little higher, but keeping your elbows working behind you. And then breathe out, slowly lower. Really stretching out through your legs. Use your legs to propel you. Breathing in and breathing out. And we'll just do 2 more. Breathing in, lift up through the heart. Use the rib cage, the core muscles to lift you. Breathing out, lower. And then breathing in, lift, and find a cobra that's accessible for you to hold for a breath or 2. So maybe you lower it a little bit, maybe not. Squeeze the elbows in, draw the shoulder heads back. And then exhale, lower back down. Good, taps the feet, untuck, lift up onto the knees, and then up and back for downward facing dog. Breath in, and then breathe out. Now we'll walk our feet to our hands to the top of the mat. Once you get there, inhale for half lift, and then exhale for folds. Good, inhale, roots arise. You can reach out and up, stretch and reach. Take a little back bend at the top, and then exhale, hands to heart center. Good, inhales forward, up. Exhale, swan dive, fold all the way down. Inhale for half lift. We're gonna get into a little bit more of a flow here. As you exhale, reach your hands down, left foot steps all the way back. So if you have blocks, this is where you might take them to either side of your right foot if you like. Breathe in, popping up onto your fingertips, shine your heart. Breathe out, hinge forward for momentum to step it back for downward facing dog. Nice stuff. Next inhale is that high push-up position. Next exhale is a vinyasa of your choice. I'm going to keep demonstrating releasing the knees gently, hips high, so there's a little arch of the back. And then as you exhale, elbows graze the side body, chin, chest, belly. Slide the legs out long, tops of the feet press. Inhale, broaden through the collarbones. Exhale, up and back, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg up nice and high. Exhale, big step, left foot to the top. Good. As you inhale, popping up onto the fingertips, shine your heart. As you exhale, right foot steps forward and folds. Good. Inhale, root to rise, reach out and up. Little back bend. Exhale, hands to heart. Good. Inhale, forward up. Exhale, swan dive or folds of your choice. Good. Inhales, half lift. As you exhale, right foot steps back. And nice and long with that back leg. Next inhale, pop up onto the fingertips, or maybe there's blocks there. Shine your heart. As you exhale, hinge forward, you step it back, downward facing dog. Now you can stay here. You don't have to take the vinyasa every time. Otherwise, you'll inhale, shift forward, high plank. Exhale, release the knees. Tops of feet compress, hips high, elbows graze side body, chin, chest, belly. Inhale, shine your heart. Exhale, up and back, downward facing dog. And inhale, right leg high. Exhale, use those core muscles we worked up to step that right foot forward. Do the best you can. You can always help it forward. You can take your hand to the ankle and help it forward. Inhale, shine your heart. Exhale, left foot steps forward, folds. Inhale, root to rise. Exhale, hands to heart. Lovely. We're gonna add on a little bit to that. Inhale, forward, up. Exhale, fold it through. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, left foot steps back. This time we're gonna lift up. So you're on the ball mound of that back foot. You can use a little bit more core by sweeping your fingers forward and up, come right to high lunge, or you'll take your hands to the top of the right leg, press your hands into the legs and start to lift up through your heart. Good, nice job. Now find a gaze point, straight ahead or slightly down to the floor. When you're ready, reach your hands out and up. High lunge, nice job. Good, so come up onto the tippy toes of the back foot, and then reach out through that back heel. It's lifted. You're reaching out strong through it. You have a little bend into your back knee. Nice job. Quite a deep bend into your front. Shift your pelvis slightly forward. Goal post your arms here now. So you'll bend at the elbow. Stretch your fingers wide. Open through your heart. 2 more breaths. Feeling your power. Feeling your strength. Good. Inhale. Reach your hands up high. Exhale, frame that front foot. Good, ground your left hand, maybe to a block or the earth, and inhale, sweep your right arm to the sky. So your right hand's reaching up. If you have to release that left knee, you certainly can. Otherwise, the left knee is lifted. Keep your left hip working at the same level as your right hip. Good, 1 more breath. Breathe in, breathe out, frame that front foot. Step that right leg back, downward facing dog. Stay there, or inhale for plank, high push-up position. Exhale, slowly release the knees. Elbows graze the side body. So these vinyasas, I always see people rush through it because they're transitions and we don't like them. We don't like transitions, but they're a big part of the journey. So take your time to inhale into your cobra shape, draw the shoulder heads back. And then exhale, press up and back, downward facing dog. Good. Next inhale, left leg high. Exhale, big step, left foot to the top. Ball mound of that back foot. Same deal, you can sweep your fingers forward and up, or you'll first take a little pause at the left thigh. Press your hands into the legs to lift up through your heart. Good. And then when you feel grounded, sweep your hands out and up. High lunge. Good. A little adjustment on this side too, if that felt right. Tippy toes that back foot. And then work out through that back heel. You have a soft bend in that back knee, big bend into this front knee. Nice job. Goal post the arms. Spread the fingers wide, open through, a little subtle back bend. Lead with your heart. Good. Inhale, reach your hands up high. Exhale, frame that front foot. Right hand grounds to the inside of the left foot. Left hand sweeps up high, twisted lunge. So once again here, you can release your right knee or you're lifted off that back knee. And breathe in, breathe out, frame that front foot and step that right foot forward, fold over the legs. We'll dangle here for a breath. Good, and then making your way out, you can roll up or reach out and up, root to rise, a little back bend. Exhale, hands to heart. Good, feel your breath, feel your heartbeat, let your thumb connect to your sternum. Try not to look around too much. And then inhale, forward up. Exhale, fold it through. Inhale, half lift. As you exhale, left foot steps back. This time we're gonna release the left knee, shin, back toes tucked or untucked, your choice. Sweep your hands out and up, low lunge. Good. From here, remember, pause for a moment. Remember, you can always take a blanket under that back knee or double stack the mat so you support your back knee. And from here, we're gonna interlace our hands, taking our thumbs at the base of the skull, hands at the head, press the head into the hands, hands into the head, and draw your elbows in. Yeah, draw your elbows in so that maybe your forearms are squeezing your temples, and press your head into your hands, hands into your head. Take a little back bend here. You might look upwards or over the tip of your nose to the floor. Send your pelvis forward, tailbone down, long and strong in your belly. Nice, good. One more breath. Good, release your grasp, inhale your hands up. Exhale, frame that front foot. And here I'll invite you to sink into your seat. So we were lifted a little bit. Now go ahead and sink into your seat. So you might be dropping to the top of the left quad if that feels okay. Untuck the toes if that feels okay. You can keep them tucked. Left hand ground, the right hand sweeps up. Good. From here, reach your right fingertips all the way to the back of the room. So you're stretching through the collarbone, stretching through the chest. Reach it back. You can look to the floor or straight ahead. Feel how this is opening up your right armpit chest. And then stick with that. Or if it's okay for you, bend that back leg and catch hold of that back foot with the right hand. Only if it's accessible. Take a breath. Nice. If you have that back foot, slowly release it. Reach your right arm high, breath in, breath out. Frame that front foot. Let's off the back knee. Hinge forward, step it back, downward dog. Remember, you can rest in a child's pose or stay here or inhale to plank. Exhale, release your knees. Tops of the feet, press hips high, chin, chest, belly. Inhale into your cobra pose. Exhale, up and back, downward facing dog. Good. Inhale, left leg high. This time we're gonna bend the left leg at the knee joint and open the hips. So stack your left hip higher than your right. Just imagine. Yeah, imagine that you're trying to kick the right wall with that left foot. Okay, you can look towards the back toes or up underneath your left armpit, your choice. You can always walk your hands in a little closer to shorten your downward dog if it feels like it's a bit much in your wrists. Take another breath. Good, inhale your left leg high. Exhale, big step, left foot to the top. Help it forward, take your time. And then when you're ready, release your back knee shin. Good, and then sweep your hands out and up. A low lunge. Good, from here, once again, we'll interlace our hands behind the head, thumbs at the base of the skull. Draw the elbow points inwards. Squeeze the forearms into the temples if you can. Press your head into your hands, hands into your head. Take a back bend of your choice. It doesn't need to look very big to feel very, very big. Yes, your hands are supporting your head, so your chin isn't drawing to the sky. Your chin is level with your chest. That's it. And inhale back to neutral. Reach your arms up. Exhale, frame this front foot. Good. Now go ahead and sink into the seat if that feels okay. Top of the foot can ground, so you're getting a little bit more of a stretch on the back quad perhaps. And then ground your right hand and sweep your left arm up. So you're twisting towards that bent knee. That's it. And then if it feels okay still, reach your left fingertips all the way to the back of the room. Stretch the fingertips to the back. Really reach them there. And then from there, maybe you bend that back leg, catch hold of the foot. If it's accessible, no need to force it. Good. Take another breath, drawing that left shoulder head back, feeling the stretch across the collarbones. Slowly release that back foot. Reach your left arm up high. Frame that front foot, lift off the back knee shin, take both hands to the inside of the left foot and walk all 10 toes to the other side. So you're gonna line your 10 toes up towards each other, softly bend your knees, take your hands to your hips and inhale, lift all the way up to stand. So you can take your time here to set up a nice wide stance. We'll reach our arms out to the side so that the ankles are right below the wrists or just about. It doesn't need to be perfect. Good, and then inhale, reach up for 5-pointed star. Stretch your fingers to the sky, and then as you exhale, hinge from the hips to fold forward, arms out to your sides. Lovely. Reach your hands to the earth. You might again have blocks there. Breathe in, pop up onto your fingertips for length, and then breathe out, fold. Letting your head hang here. The important thing is that you're not straining your neck. The closer that your feet are towards each other, usually the lesser or the deeper the stretch, if you have a pretty good flexibility and your hands reach the floor pretty easily, you can try actually closing your stance a little. If you need to reach the floor and you're not quite there, you can always separate the legs a little wider. You play with that a little. Let your head and neck hang here. You can flip your fingertips so that they face the back of the room and start to walk your arms and your hands behind you. And you'll inhale for length and exhale, bend your elbows like hinges and gently pull your heart and chest in. It's just an option. Good. We'll slowly walk our hands back to center if they aren't already. And then we'll walk them over to that front foot, palm onto the back foot. Take an inhale. As you exhale, step the right foot forward and fold. And then you'll inhale, roots arise, reach out and up. Little back foot at the top. Exhale, hands to heart. Good, notice your breath. Inhale, forward up. And then an exhale, swan dive, fold over the legs. Half lift, breath in. Breath out, step that right foot back first this time. Slowly release the right knee shin. Come up onto the left thigh. And then here, we're gonna actually shift it back so that the right knee is directly below the right hip. So if you don't already have a blanket, this is where you might take one. It's just up to you though. We're gonna take the left hand at the low back, sweep the right arm up. So you're stretching your right fingertips to the sky. Take a little bit of a back bend there. Good, and as you exhale, twist to your left, taking the right forearm to the outside of the left thigh. Bring it out, twisting to your left. So I'm just gonna spin just in case it's easier for you to see what I'm doing. Yep, so back toes tucked or untucked, your choice. Maybe you look past the left shoulder. We'll up level here just in case that's better for you. Bend your right elbow, hook it to the outside of the left thigh. This is just an up level option. And then your palms will connect and you twist a little deeper perhaps. So your left elbow is working to the sky. So just getting a twist that's suitable for you. 2 more breaths. Drawing that left shoulder back, really focusing on opening that shoulder. Good, next breath in, bring it out, reach up. And then breath out, frame that front foot, lift off the back knee shin, inhale, exhale, step it back, downward facing dog. Again, stick with that, or inhale, plank. Exhale, your vinyasa. Tops of the feet pressed, inhale, cobra. Exhale, up and back. Good. Inhaling, your right leg comes up high. And then this time we'll bend the right leg at the knee joint and open the hip. Stack the right hip higher than your left. Again, you can walk your hands in a little closer to that left foot if that serves you. Imagine like you're trying to kick the left wall with that right foot, opening through, stretching the hip. Another breath here. Nice job. Good, inhale your right leg up high. Exhale, big step, right foot to the top. Help it forward if you need to. And then release your left knee directly below the left hip. And you'll come up onto the right thigh. So I'm gonna go to the other side. Yep, so back toes are tucked just to support you, but that's up to you. Now the right hand goes to the low back. Sweep your left fingertips up. Stretch your left fingertips to the sky, maybe a little bit of a back bend. You're just opening up. And then as you exhale, twist to your right. So the left forearm goes to the outside of the right thigh. Right elbow draws back and down. And gaze past your right shoulder. You can stick with that, or you can hook your left elbow to the outside of the right thigh. Palms connect the right elbow to the sky. Pressing your palms together to support you as you exhale to ring out, twisting deeper. One more breath. Good, next inhale, ring it out. Sweep your hands up. Next exhale, frame that front foot, lift off the back knee shin, both hands to the inside of the left foot, walk all 10 toes back once again to line up with each other. Softly bend your knees. When you're there, take your hands to your hips and inhale, lift all the way up. Okay, so here we are again, grounded through the feet. When you turn the 2 big toes in towards each other, sometimes it helps you to feel a little bit more grounded. And then we're gonna reach our hands back behind you, like so, if that feels okay. Squeeze the palms together, breathe in, and then breathe out, fold between the legs. So the hands here can stay at the low back, or they can go up and overhead. Your choice. Good. So your hands can be at the low back with elbows bent or straight up overhead. We're gonna stay here for another 4 breaths. So if you need to release the shoulder stretch sooner, release it to your low back and then the floor. And inhale, lift up just enough to release your hands to the low back, then the floor. Breath in for half lift, breath out, fold to center. Take another breath. Good, inhale, lift up just enough, walk over to your front foot, palm onto the back foot, breathe in, and then breathe out, step it back, downward facing dog. Now let's take a little child's pose here. Try it with the knees together, see how that feels. And maybe take one fist down or 2 fists stacked on top of each other and let your forehead rest to the hands. Or you can have your arms stretched out and your forehead down. We'll just take a couple breaths. Good, we'll lift back up to downward dog, so knees are hip distance, tuck the toes, hips high, breath in. Breathe out, tiptoe the feet all the way to the top of the mat. And then we'll softly bend the knees, reach out and up. And then bring your hands to the heart. We're gonna do a balancing practice, so find a focus point, a drishti, something in front of you. And then we're gonna reach the hands out and up, sink into chair pose, a little mini chair. From here, ground under the left foot, tap the right toes, take the right leg, cross it over the left, squeeze the thighs, and then bend your left elbow, take the right arm up underneath the left elbow, sink low. So now you might use the floor, the right foot like a kickstand at the floor. That could be an option, or it's hanging, or the right foot wraps around the left ankle, a second wrap. Beautiful, eagle pose. I know this is a tough one. Elbows in close or elbows out and up to intensify. We're gonna take 2 more breaths. Good, slowly release that right foot, ground that right foot, spring out of it, big open heart. Exhale, hands to heart. Take a breath. Then we'll reach our hands out and up, all on a little mini chair. Other side, so ground down through the right foot, take the left leg, cross it over the right, give a squeeze, and then bending right elbow, left arm wraps up and underneath the right. Yeah, good. You might reach for opposite shoulder if this is a bit much. Maybe you take a second wrap around that right ankle, sink low. Okay, so you can use it as a kickstand, that would be okay. Maybe you can really sink in like a chair. Elbows out and up would intensify the shoulder stretch. You got this, just 2 more breaths. You're squeezing yourself in a tight, constricted little ball so that you can breathe through tough times. Ground down through that right foot. We're gonna spring out of it. Ground that left foot, big open heart. Free, inhale. And then exhale, fold. Dangle over the leg. From here, we'll separate the feet about as wide as your mat. Bring your toes out towards either side. And we're gonna slowly lower into yogi squat. Bringing the hands together, right? So for some of you, if you can't lower into it, it's pretty common. You might be more in like a high squat like that. And so you'd be working your muscles. And that's okay. Sometimes I do that on purpose because I can really drop in here. I've been doing this for a decade. All right, so I'll sometimes come up here to work with my muscles. So wherever you are, close your eyes if that's okay, or find a gaze point and we'll hold. You might use your elbows to separate the knees a little wider. Beautiful. Okay, to come on out of this, you can have your hands in front, maybe one in front, one behind, and slowly lower to the floor. Bring your legs together, and we're gonna take them out in front for some forward folds. So I'll first bend the right leg in, take the right leg out, so the hip is open, right foot to the left groin, and then bring the left leg to a slight angle. Keep the right foot connected to the left thigh. You might scooch the seat a little bit. And then we'll inhale, reach your hands up. Turn your heart and chest towards that left leg. And then as you exhale, fold over the left leg, tiny amount. Janushirasana. This is one of the top yoga postures, one of the oldest yoga postures there is. It's a relish in the ancient treasure of Janushirasana. So you can have your hands at your shins, your ankles, your feet, wherever it wants to go, maybe nowhere at all. And maybe your head hangs or your gaze stays lifted to the toes. Stay present with your breath. And start to lift up just enough to walk your hands back in, ground down to your seat. So you can inhale, sweep your hands up. As you exhale, reach them all the way out to the sides and draw your chin towards your chest. And then we'll lift up and go to the other side. So you can take your right leg out on a slight angle. It's probably still on your mat, just on an angle to the right. And then fold your left leg in, take your left foot to the right groin. And you can scooch the flesh around if that helps you feel grounded onto your seat. Take an inhale, sweep your hands up, turn your heart and chest to the right. Okay, and then exhale, fold over your right leg. Janushirasana. You can have a bend in this right knee, whichever feels good for you. Imagine as if you're hydrating your back with breath. And slowly start to make your way out. And then when you're there, inhale, reach your hands all the way up, stretch, maybe look up. And then exhale, release your hands down, draw your chin towards your chest. And then we'll bend the legs, take the legs out long in front of you. We'll do one more stretch here, Paschimottanasana. So the toes are flexed towards the knee. You can do a little self-adjustment. You can reach for your sit bone, pull it up and back, and then do the other one, pull it up and back, and then you're really centered on your seat. And then inhale, reach up. And then exhale, hinge from the hips, fold forward. Catch hold of shin, ankle, feet, or nothing at all. You can also bend your knees here. You can bend your knees quite a bit. Enjoy this stretch. And let your head hang and breathe. This stretch stretches the whole posterior chain from the heels all the way up the whole back body to the skull. So if you feel you're tight here, it will make sense. Stay with your breath. Good, and we'll lift up. Keep your eyelids heavy, and we're gonna roll it to the back. So make sure you have enough space for your head to roll down. You might have to scooch up a little bit. And then option to just plop down. Maybe you have layers, you want to layer up first, but I'll show you what we're doing. You'll just have your hands out, palms facing in, curl the tailbone in, round the upper back. I stole this from Pilates, to be honest. And you'll keep the thighs squeezing together, breathe in. And as you breathe out, very slowly, you'll lower all the way down. See if you can keep your ankles on the floor. That's the challenge. Hopefully I won't drop into my candle. And then once you get there, take your time, reach your arms all the way up overhead. Stretch through the fingers, stretch through the toes. And then as you exhale, one final knees, chest. Give yourself a squeeze. You might rock a little side to side. And then releasing into the final pose, Shavasana. So the legs will stretch out long, feet out towards either side, arms at your sides, back of the head onto the floor. If you need a little grounding, you can always take a block and place it at your belly, maybe a blanket. Perhaps you do a sigh, a big sigh out of the mouth. Maybe you need to do that more than once until you let your breath be unchanged. And start to wake up the body, creating some small movements like wiggling fingers or toes, or rocking your head from right to left. And then as you're ready, bending the legs and rolling to one side, right or left, whichever feels more natural for you right now. And roll to the side, maybe use your arm there, be like a pillow. And slowly press ourselves up to sit. And we'll take our hands together, thumb knuckle to the heart. Acknowledging that if we do feel any little glimmers of peace, maybe we've already moved on to what's next, what's for dinner, or what's for tomorrow. But if there were any moments or glimmers of peace, acknowledging that that isn't something that we gained or obtained, rather, it's something that we remembered or rediscovered. Yoga believes that that is our true essence shining through. That is who we really are. Thank you for your practice. Namaste.